Today, I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite NHL DFS plays for this Wednesday, October 11th slate. And we got 6 games here tonight where I'm going to go through a couple of my favorite line stacks, some of my favorite individual plays, and then we'll wrap up the video talking 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. With that being said, let's dive right into it. And before we dive into those line stacks, everyone, just want to quickly address the spreadsheet situation here with these videos. I saw a lot of you commenting on that yesterday, and honestly, I would have preferred to have done the spreadsheet videos once again this year. I really do like it, but after seeing the analytics yesterday from that video, it pretty much confirmed what I had suspected. A lot of people weren't actually watching my videos. They were simply clicking on it, taking a screenshot of the pics, and then leaving, which is great for you, but not great for me in the YouTube algorithm. And I'm not joking when I say this. Yesterday's video is the best I've ever had analytically speaking in the 3 years that I've been doing this YouTube thing. So I'm not going to change that up. It takes me about 3 hours to make these videos. If you don't have 10-15 minutes out of your day to get some free picks, well, that's on you. With that being said, I'm in a great mood here today, everyone. Really excited for this 6-game slate here tonight. Let's cover those 6 games here quickly. First one we got is the Canadiens heading into Toronto, where the Maple Leafs are a heavy favorite, over-under at 6.5. We got the Senators heading into Carolina, where Carolina's favorite at -205. You got an over-under of 6 goals there. Blackhawks playing on back-to-back nights heading into Boston, where Boston's favorite at -305 with an over-under of 6 goals. Avalanche taking on the Kings. We got an even -110 split there, over under a 6.5. Oilers heading into Vancouver. You got the Oilers favorite at -160 with an over under of 7 goals. Really like that. And then the Jets taking on the Flames, where Calgary is favored at -135, and we got another over under there of 6.5 goals. Now let's dive into those line stacks that I like here for tonight. Now there is a lot to like about the forward position in general here on this 6-game slate, but one line stack that I really like here is that second line for the Edmonton Oilers. We got Leon Draisaitl centering Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and Zach Hyman. Now, yes, they're a little more expensive, but all things considered, it's a pretty affordable line stack here considering the upside these three have. All 3 of them are currently playing on the Oilers' #1 power play and pretty much played there all of last year, which was far and away the best power play in the league last year, scoring at almost 32.5%. They were lights out in the playoffs on that power play as well, and I like the matchup here on the road to start the season versus the Canucks, who just so happen to have the league's worst penalty kill all of last season too. And then another line stack that I like here tonight is that second line for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We got John Tavares centering William Nylander and the newcomer in Max Domi. This line also is a lot more affordable than I thought they would be, especially William Nylander at $5,900. We're getting some nice value there. It's a good matchup at home here against the Montreal Canadiens, and also a nice pivot off of that first line with Matthews and Marner, who should be popular on this 6-game slate. But I like the second line because they're a little more affordable, they're less popular, and you also get Tavares and Nylander, who play up on the #1 power play still, which was the second best in the NHL just behind the Oilers last year, scoring at a 26% rate. Domi himself is going to play on the #2 power play, and it just so happens the Canadiens weren't very good on the penalty kill last year either, the 4th worst in the NHL, hitting at just a 73% rate. Now folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here and the low-priced options, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. We got a lot of football and hockey content coming your way this year. We're trying to get Slydog Sports to 4,000 subs, really trying to build a brand here, and the faster we can do that, the more content we're going to be able to push out to you guys. Plus, make sure you check out our Mulligan Masters series that we put out this summer. Here's a little preview to that.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Kind of a hope and a prayer. Shot of this thing. That's a pancake.
That's a pancake pan right there.
Yeah, it's probably not worth it though.
That was for you. Hey, that was all the first putt scout.
I do have the right club. How far was this?
All right, now diving into these individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. First guy that I got here is Elias Pettersson of the Vancouver Canucks, sitting at $8,000 on Draftkings in a matchup against the Edmonton Oilers. This guy's coming off of a career year in both goals and assists, where he plotted 39, had 63 assists for 102 points, cracking that 100 mark for the first time in his young career. This is a high-scoring potential game overall, one that we could definitely stack up. Has an implied total of 7 goals. We're going to see Petey play up on the first line, play on the number 1 power play, and played pretty well against this Oilers team last year. He put up 1 goal, had 3 assists, and 3 games played. The next guy I got here then is Brad Marchand, the new captain of the Boston Bruins, who's sitting at $6,900 on DraftKings right now. Good matchup at home here against the Chicago Blackhawks, who are playing on back-to-back nights. A very young team there. And I just think that he's going to have kind of a chip on his shoulder, a sense of pride. Patrice Bergeron, David Krejci, they retire. A lot of people really don't know what to expect out of this Boston Bruins team. I think Marchand's going to want to carry this team on his shoulders, especially early in the season with a lot of those question marks. Yeah, he plays down on the second line, but plays up on the number 1 power play, and also gets time on that penalty kill as well. Now, I mentioned earlier, there is a lot to like about the forward position here on this 6-game slate. Truly some massive value here. DraftKings got some prices really wrong. We're going to get into those low-priced options. You're going to see one of the guys and go, holy shit, he's this cheap? We'll get there in just a few minutes, but one guy that I like here in the 4K range is Andrei Kuzmenko of the Vancouver Canucks. Makes for a cheap stacking piece with Elias Pettersson. He's only $4,900. He's coming off of a great year here where he plotted 39 goals, had 35 assists, 74 points in his first season in the NHL. Wasn't technically a rookie because I believe he's 28 or 29 years old. Came over from Russia, played in the KHL there. Needless to say, he is a goal scorer. Plays up on that first line, plays on the number 1 power play, and had 2 goals against the Oilers last year. And like I said, just a lot of high scoring potential in general in this game. Another guy that I like here in the 4K range tonight is Jonathan Huberdeau of the Calgary Flames, sitting at $4,600 on DraftKings in a home matchup against the Winnipeg Jets. He is looking for a bounce-back year after a down year last year with just 55 points. But let's not forget, this guy plotted 115 points just the season before that, albeit with a completely different team in the Florida Panthers. This guy does have some nice offensive upside, and this is a guy who was priced in the 6 to 7K range pretty much all throughout that 21-22 season. So again, there is some nice upside here. We need him to prove that he can bounce back from last year, but playing up on that first line and number 1 power play, he's going to have all the opportunity to do so. And then one forward who's just far too cheap in my opinion is Cole Caulfield of the Montreal Canadiens, sitting at $4,200 on DraftKings here tonight. Sure, this is a tough matchup on the road against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and yes, he's coming off of an injury, but this is a natural goal scorer who loves to shoot the puck. He truly could go for 20, 25 plus DraftKings here tonight, and I wouldn't be shocked. Now, I'm not guaranteeing that by any means, but it is the upside that he has. He also plays on the first line in number 1 power play and should log anywhere from 18 to 20 minutes here tonight. Now, moving over here to the defensemen, and one guy I would be willing to spend up for here tonight is Evan Bouchard of the Edmonton Oilers. Talked about this game earlier between them and the Vancouver Canucks. A lot of high scoring potential. He's sitting at $6,100 on DraftKings here tonight, and he's really a great stacking piece with any one of the Oilers' top 6 forwards, but I'm primarily targeting him on that Oilers number 1 power play. Talked about their numbers from last year earlier. They should be the best power play in the NHL again this year. Maybe they have a little regression, but I'm really not too concerned about that. Just to put this into perspective, this guy's coming off of a great playoff run too, where he had 15 power play assists in just 12 playoff games. That's the type of upside he has on that power play. Now, one defenseman in the 4K range that I thought was a little mispriced was Devon Toews. Probably should be in the mid-5K range in my opinion. He is sitting at $4,800 on DraftKings here tonight, where they're heading to Los Angeles to play the Kings. This is a very well-rounded defenseman here who can really rack up DraftKings points in a number of different ways. He's a guy who had 59 points in 87 games last year, including the playoffs. He's not afraid to shoot the puck, and he's not afraid to block shots either. He averaged 1.67 block shots per game last year, and don't forget, you get 3 block shots in a game, you get a 3-point DraftKings bonus. He's going to play on the number 2 power play for the Avs, plays on the penalty kill, and he also benefits from playing with Cale Makar on that number 1 defense pair for the Avalanche. And then another defenseman that caught my eye here in the low 4K range was Tony DeAngelo of the Carolina Hurricanes, priced at $4,200 on DraftKings tonight in a home matchup against the Ottawa Senators. I'm primarily targeting him on that number 1 power play for for the Canes, but honestly at this price, I think he's a good value play overall. The Senators team that they're playing took the third most minor penalties in the NHL last year, and Tony DeAngelo is an offensive-minded guy who isn't afraid to shoot the puck, and is definitely someone who can get on the score sheet, coming off of a season where he had 42 points with the Flyers just last year. And then a cheap value defenseman that caught my attention in the low 3K range was John Klingberg of the Toronto Maple Leafs, priced at $3,200 in a good home matchup tonight against the Montreal Canadiens. Another guy who's going to benefit from playing on his team's #1 power play. I talked about how good that Maple Leafs power play was last year, scoring at a 26% rate. They're still very forward loaded there with Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, and Marner. Like I said, Klingberg will benefit from playing with those guys. He's another offensive defenseman as well, so a cheap value play with some nice upside. And then I got a couple of goaltenders here for you. One guy I would be willing to spend up for here tonight is Freddie Anderson of the Carolina Hurricanes, priced at $8,200 in a home matchup against the Ottawa Senators. Canes are favored to win at home here tonight at -205, and I know we only have stats from last year. We always got to work out some kinks here in the first 2 weeks, but based off of last season's statistics, the Senators team was not afraid to shoot the puck, averaged 33.5 shots on goal per game, the 7th most in the NHL, and this defense in front of Freddie is arguably the best in the NHL. The Canes do play lockdown defense and really force a lot of shots from the outside, so like I said, like spending up for Freddie here tonight at $8,200. And then a cheaper goaltender that caught my attention was Connor Hellebuyck of the Winnipeg Jets, and yes everyone, I'm well aware he wasn't the best on the road last year. He had a 16-16-1 record in 33 games, basically 500 on the road, so not horrible, but not great either. But at this price here, $7,500 on DraftKings, I kind of look at it as a cheaper goaltender play with some really nice upside. He truly is a goaltender that could get 30 plus DraftKings points if he's on here tonight. One of the best goalies in the NHL, and for what it's worth, he just got paid handsomely, both him and Mark Scheifele actually, to stay with the Winnipeg Jets for the next 7 years, so he should be feeling good here heading into this season. And as always, going to wrap up the video here with 3 low-priced options or sub-4K forward plays. First guy that I got on my list here is Ryan Johansson of the Colorado Avalanche. I'm looking at this here as an opportunity play. Going to start the season on the second line and should pretty much play there all year long, but he's also going to start the season on the #1 power play for the Avs, and I'm really interested in that. So much talent on that Avs power play. We got McKinnon, we got Makar, we got Rantanen, and at $3,700 here, I do like the price for Johansson, looking to make a name for himself on his new team. Now this next play here in Pierre-Luc Dubois, DraftKings couldn't have got this pricing more wrong. $3,500 is probably about $2,000 to $2,500 too cheap. A guy who's coming off of a great season with the Winnipeg Jets, playing with a new team here in the LA Kings, which has a lot of offensive upside. He's going to play on that second line with Kevin Fiala, and if Victor Arvidsson does not play for the Kings tonight, Dubois is going to play up on the #1 power play. If Arvidsson does play, Dubois goes down to the second power play, but overall, a tremendous value play here at $3,500. And then I got the rookie there for the Calgary Flames and Matt Coronato sitting at $3,000 on DraftKings. He did play 1 game in the NHL last year, but primarily played in the NCAA for Harvard, and he's going to get all the opportunity in the world here to start the season as a rookie, playing on that second line with Kadri, playing up on the #1 power play as well. So considering the opportunity here at $3,000, I like the value there. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 6-game slate. In the meantime, I'm out of here.